Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And with that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Organic herbs and botanicals, skincare and edibles, wellness for body and mind. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. Ronald Records. From indie gems to classic hits, discover the heart of local music. With live shows all the time, up close and personal, and regular releases on their in-house label. Ronald Records. Supporting the community, one track at a time. All right, thank you all so much for watching. Again, shout out The Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Teaspoon, Big Dog, Portland, Oregon.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, who you are, where you're from, what you do. Give us that Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Man, I'm like an OG damn near right now. Been putting on for the city for over a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Seasoned artist, all around artist. But my main genre is rap, hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Big Spoon.
Yeah, I dig that. What got you into music initially? What was the start for you?
Got an older brother that was heavy in the rap. He was living in the Bay Area, so he was bringing back Mac Dre, Too Short.
That makes sense.
1-5, Richie Rich, so many artists on the Bay Area underground scene.
Mm-hmm. I'm from the Bay myself. I recognize every name you just said.
Yeah, for sure. So then mixing that with everything I was already hearing, Ice Cube, Tupac, and then, other local rappers in Portland that was on the scene doing their thing. Just inspired me to want to rap.
Gotcha. Okay. And then other than your brother, was anybody else in your household musical at all? Or I guess musically inclined?
Nah. My grandparents used to play a whole bunch of oldies records, which was dope. When it was time to clean up, or when they would clean up, they'd break out the OJs and a host of other old school records that I was able to get familiar with. And it's dope because now I hear those samples and I'm like, oh, that's...
Yeah, you know exactly what it's from.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I dig that.
That's pretty dope.
Okay, cool. Does your brother still do music now?
Nah, he was just freestyle.
Gotcha, okay. So he was kind of getting into it, and then you jumped on, and then you kept running with it.
Yeah, he was just he just was the motivator. He never really seriously rapped, but
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
He got me going though.
I dig that. And then do you play any instruments or anything?
Nah. I think maybe in elementary I was playing the clarinet or something.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I never stuck with it or nothing.
No, I feel you. So you're just primarily vocals.
Strictly rap, yeah.
I dig that. And then before we get into more of what you do in the present day, I do have a couple foundation questions I like to check in with everybody on.
For sure.
And this first one is one we ask early, it's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Machiavelli. I think I bought Machiavelli. I remember going to it was either Tower or I can't remember the one that was at the Lloyd Center, but one of those two stores, I can't recall, but yeah, I bought Machiavelli.
Gotcha. Okay. Hey, definitely a solid choice.
Yeah.
And then what was one of the first live shows you ever went to that was specifically one you wanted to go to?
The first one I ever went to, damn.
Well, like I said, just more the first one where you saw the tickets, you got it, and you went to it.
I think we went to was it the Ja Rule concert at the Rose Garden?
Okay.
I think it was Ja Rule.
Oh yeah, I dig that.
Yeah.
Man, you definitely got some quality early music experiences.
Yeah.
And then before we officially get into it, do you have a defining moment where you decided you wanted to take music more seriously?
Yeah. Seeing my older relatives, Poon Wheels, and my boy Psycho, all dudes from my neighborhood that was putting music out seriously, like kind of on the underground wave, like ahead of people that like really inspired me, because like these are people I'm with like a lot and I hang out with, and they doing it on a serious quality level. So that just made me feel like I could do it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely a solid moment. But now let's go ahead and let's get on into you in the present day.
For sure.
We are going to knock out a super easy one first, though. How'd you pick the name?
Man, my name originally was T Soprano. They used to kill me in the comments on YouTube, like early YouTube days. But Teaspoon was like a childhood moniker. So I just, it was a more natural. So I just ran with that.
I gotcha. It's definitely a cool name. Like, I appreciate how you switch it up a little bit. You got the dot in there. You got the $sign for the S.
Yeah.
But it's when you look at it, it's like instantly readable. It looks cool and everything. It's definitely a super solid choice.
So I appreciate that. Yeah. I had to change up the spelling because it's more common than what you would think. There was a couple artists and people would look up my music and they would find his, and it was just a whole bunch of confusion.
Gotcha.
Some of them songs was trash, and I was like, nah, that's not me, bro. Not at all.
I've had like 2 other people on the show now where like I go to look up their music and I'm like, I had a hard time, and they were like, it was this other guy, wasn't it? And I was like,
yeah, you gotta create that separation and pick a decent spelling or something.
Yeah, SEO goes a long way nowadays. Now let's go ahead and let's talk about your writing process a little bit. And we're going to break it up into chunks, but we're going to start right at the beginning. So when you get inspired, you're ready to make music, what are some of the things you do to get a track started?
Man, I've been doing this for so long. Like, I have so many different methods, but like, I can write like in studio on the spot. I feel like I like to slow cook. Like, so sometimes I like everything to be natural, not forced. Like, when I hear a beat or I get an idea, ideas should just flow.
Yeah.
I don't want to like stay on something too long and overthink. So, but yeah, sometimes I punch in. That's like the new wave, going there and essentially you're freestyling.
Yeah, you're just capturing every line as you do it.
I could do that. But like I said, it just depends. Like, the melodic stuff, I go in there and like, I'll start humming like melodies and then put the words in, punch the words in. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Sometimes I'll just be driving down the street or, just chilling at the crib and I like some bars that just come to my head, or either I'll hear like a dope artist and I'm like, damn, he killed that. Like, so I go find the beat and I'm like, I gotta gas him. I can't. I'm competitive with this. So
I gotcha. And then, I mean, do you even write your stuff down anymore, or are you just pretty good at like doing it off the top?
I mean, like I write in my phone. Like, I have bars in my phone. Like, sometimes I just have like 6 bars. So if somebody do hit me, or if I hear a beat, I'm like, oh, that 6, go to that. And they give me a start, or sometimes everything will be off the top. Pause.
Gotcha. Yeah, and like you said, punching in now is kind of consistent. When it comes like to like the feeling to make me like that, like you're like, this is time. Do you usually like, are you scheduling out studio time every time you want to go sit down and do it? Do you like kind of have a space at home? Like, what does that look like for you?
I had a studio at the crib for a long time. I ended up selling it, but I just recently got FL.
Oh, gotcha.
At the crib, I got a little FL setup just for references. Like, I can get into the booth whenever I need to. I'm kind of dialed in with a couple different engineers. And
you probably got some people at this point.
So I mean, yeah, but for the most part, it is kind of essential to have a home set up just to knock out and get the idea.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's also so much easier to get now. And then how long does it usually take you to feel comfortable enough to perform a track once you've gotten it written?
Once I memorize it, I'm good. As long as I memorize it, so I say probably a day after sitting with some.
Oh, dang. Okay, so you're just ready to go.
Yeah.
Once
it's in my head, I don't know. Like I said, I've been doing this for a minute, so it's second nature at this point.
Yeah. And then actually, before we get into talking about some of your music, this is just something I'm always curious about for people who have such large catalogs. When it comes time to do a show, I mean, you have so much music to pick from, and I'm sure you stylize it based off of who you're performing with.
For sure.
But, how do you go through picking them, and then do you usually have to rehearse them for a little bit to get tight with them again?
Yeah, I do. I try to sit with them at least bare minimum 2 weeks, especially if it's some older stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I feel like I know what people want to hear from me.
Mm-hmm.
The bigger the songs that kind of do bigger numbers. But then also if it's depending on where I'm performing, I do got personal favorites that I'm yeah, I gotta do that. I don't care.
Yeah,
that's one of my joints that I mess with. So yeah, but that's pretty much it, man. Kind of just filling out what type of event I'm at and basing it off that.
Gotcha. Okay, well, easy enough. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about some of your music.
Mm-hmm.
So I jumped on Spotify,
sure.
And you have a literal metric ton of music. It goes all the way back to 2015.
Yeah.
And when I say it's a ton, you may have as much, if not more, music than one other person who's been on the show named Machado Majiga, who has probably the most music I've ever seen anybody make ever.
Yeah.
But it's so much. And there was no way I could get through everything. So instead, I just decided to focus on your albums.
Okay.
And first of all, it's all super good. Even your early, because the 2015 album, that is your earliest work. And I forgot to write the name down. I apologize. Oh, Cost of Living. I did write it down. And that one.
That's probably the earliest streaming though, but bro, I got.
Oh, I'm sure you got even more than that. I'm just saying, as far as what's on Spotify.
Nah, they should actually. On Spotify, okay. Because the other one is under my old stage name. So yeah,
Gotcha.
You're right.
Okay. But yeah, like I was saying, even going all the way back to there, your stuff is super tight. And there is a huge, Bay Area sound to it. There's definitely that element in it, which I immediately resonated with. Like I said, coming from there, it just kind of locked me in. But everything about it is super solid. And as time progresses through your albums, your beats change up a little bit, your delivery changes up a little bit, you kind of get more attitude in some places, a little more vibey in other places, but it's still very much you. And it's all, like I said, it's all really solid. And you have an insane amount of features.
Yeah.
Your albums are 75 to 80% features.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool that your most recent album, Spoon and Friends, which came out in March of last year, that had a lot of your recurring features, because that was one thing I noticed is not everybody that was on there shows up often, but there were a few names that were there regularly. And the Spoon and Friends album, I think, had a lot of them as well.
For sure.
You also had Mike Bogan and Milk and Win on there, some huge names.
Yeah, them is all the homies. So anybody that's from or come through the city, I try to embrace younger artists, older artists, smaller, bigger. If you dope and you working, I want to work with you. And I think it's dope because it showcases skill for both artists, and we can reach each other's fan base, so it helps us out. It's kind of like a dope business deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That, and I think linking up with other people is just cool in general. You get a different approach. You kind of get to hear what they're doing. They get to hear what you're doing. It just creates this new space. And if so many of your tracks have features, it's yeah, we still get you, but each song is viably different automatically, and then from each other on the album.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I am curious to know, out of all of the music you have available, what are some of your favorite tracks to perform?
This joint I did maybe in 2018. It's called Money Like Me. That's just one of my favorite joints The beat is super hard. My boy Fizzle produced it. Just the bars, the melodies. It's just it's probably one of my favorite songs that I've done. Thug in Your Life was super dope. I like that one. Man, I got this old joint. It's super old. It probably would sound a trip if I performed it. I haven't performed it like since back in the day, but I'm Eating was super big for me, and the beat was fire. I don't know if it aged well.
Fair. Not all of them do.
I don't know if that one aged well, but I will still do it just for nostalgic purposes.
I gotcha. I'll be honest, when I was listening to all your albums, one of the things that did jump out to me is that there was never a point in time where I was like, oh, I get it, I'm going to move on to the next song. Your discography does stand up, at least like sonically, throughout time. So that is a point to make. Also, the track Bands Out featuring, is it Casao?
Casso, yeah.
So that track was rad. I really dig that one.
Appreciate that. That's the bro too, yeah.
All right, now I want to take a moment, then I want to kind of zoom out. I want to look at more of music as a whole.
Okay.
What are some of the things you're listening to right now that you're enjoying or maybe finding inspiration in at the moment?
Man, I listen to a lot of like older stuff. But I try to keep my pen sharp, so I try to listen to people like Conway is a dope artist to me that like inspires me to push my pen. From Substance, multi-syllables, just the way he puts it together. I really I like how he get down. It's always some Detroit artists who I like. I like Big Money. I like Peasy. I listen to a lot of R&B too, though.
Yeah.
As well. I'm kind of all over the place as far as like what I'm listening to right now, but I do like Burna Boy a lot. I like Blast. Trey 2-3. It's a couple artists that I'm slapping like consistently.
I gotcha. Well, it's cool to hear that, like, even at this point in your time in music, that you're still like taking in a lot of music. It's wild to me how some of the people I've interviewed for a while, they'll sometimes be like, I really don't listen to a ton. And I was like, whoa, that like blows my mind. So it's cool to hear that, like I said, this far into it, you're still like taking in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I'm a student, and even at this point where I'm at in my music career, I'm still a student. I really, really like love music and enjoy hip hop. Like I love listening to it. It's took me a lot of places. And like I just enjoy it.
Oh, I love that, man. That's awesome. Now, before we move into the next portion, this next question is probably the densest question in the interview.
Okay.
But we've talked about, your experience with music, the actions, the reactions. But when it's just you and music one-on-one, what does music give back to you?
Music. What does music give back to me? It like music is what I would call a soundtrack to my life. I have so many memories of things I've done or even just people. But like the music is a timestamp of that. Like it's like, oh, this song was out at that particular time when I was rocking with bro and we was riding to this. And so that song will come on and then it puts me back in that time and space. So yeah, I would say it's like a soundtrack to my life, I would say.
Oh, that's really cool.
It gives that back to where I have personal memories with songs.
Yeah, it's kind of permeated your life in ways where it's almost like, I guess listening is a sense. Like how like kind of like when you smell something, it takes you back.
For sure.
Like, and that's really cool, man.
Yeah.
Now, I know I said that we were going to move into the next portion, but I recently have put together some new questions that dig a little deeper.
Okay.
And I'm curious if you would maybe want to try a couple of them out for the first time.
Absolutely.
All right. So like I said, these are dense questions. These are ones that really I kind of think dig a little bit further under the surface.
Okay.
What do you feel you've contributed to music?
Mm. I think I have brought in an aspect of the Northwest, particularly Portland,
Mm-hmm.
that people don't know, or like I travel a lot, and people be tripping. They be like, "Oh, it's black people in Portland." What do y'all do? Like, y'all got a city? They be like asking me, "Is there cows?" Like, which there is.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I live in the city. Like, yeah, it's a whole bunch of stuff going on out here, but I get to tell the story from my particular aspect of it and bring it to the world.
Oh yeah, no, I love that. And then when you're working on something, how do I word this? Do you think about it? When you're working on something now, especially because you're so far into your career, do you think about like the impact new music is going to have on like your direction?
I mean, I'm me, and I'm comfortable with myself.
Yeah,
like where I'm at and what I want to talk about, and yeah, I'm just comfortable. So like, I don't think I'm worried about that as much as like I just want to make a dope project that, as long as in my heart I know it's dope, and I put my all into it, like I feel like it'll be received well, and if not,
yeah,
so be it.
Still for you, yeah. And then actually, I guess that'll kind of lead into this last question I'll ask you from the list here. Who do you feel connects most with your music?
People that's, I feel like, hustlers, resonate with my music. People that come from the bottom and trying to actually build something with themselves and be something. I just try to make hustle, motivational music to inspire people to do more and be better.
Oh yeah, I love that. And thank you for going through those. Like I said, it's the first time launching them, but I thought you would have some cool answers, and you certainly did. But now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to some hypothetical questions.
Okay.
And for these, sky's the limits. The questions are all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well. But this first one is pretty straightforward. If you could work with any one person, the only requirement is they have to be alive. Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
That's tough. So I could do so let's say I wanted to work with Dr. Dre. I could do a project with Dr. Dre.
Yeah. Like I said, as long as they're alive, it could be anybody.
That's tough. I think I will work with. Yeah, I feel like I'm into production, so I would want to do something with, like, I think Dr. Dre. I feel like everything he touches is out of here pretty much, and then he could just kind of like help me craft a perfect album, or in the public's eyes, a perfect album.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. I mean, that would be a powerhouse of an album for sure.
Yeah.
And then subsequently, and this I imagine is going to be a little bit of a tougher one. Who's someone that's local that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet?
That's tough because I have worked with like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Who haven't I worked with?
I'm gonna put one out there while you're thinking. Have you ever done anything with Jordan Fletcher?
No.
That would be a cool collaboration.
I'm gonna check him out.
Yeah, he's North Jordan on Instagram, as well as he's had an episode on the show. If you want to get to know him a little bit,
check it out.
Yeah.
Bro, there's so many people that's dope. Like, that come across like my Instagram, and I'm like, dang, who is this? And there's somebody like, man. Is Isaiah Bill from Portland?
Ooh, I am not the greatest with names offhand.
I've been seeing her like around the city. She's dope. I would like to work with her. I'm telling you, bro. Like, there's everybody that rock with me. Like, I've pretty much I've done something with. I'm really trying to think though, like who is dope though. But look, so maybe when they watch this,
I was gonna say, yeah, everybody, you know what to do,
man. But everybody know, like I'm super solid, and if you serious and want to get busy and we can work,
yeah,
it's not. I'm regular.
Yeah, no, I feel you,
and we can make it. We can make some shake.
Yeah, and like I was gonna say, everybody, put somebody in the comments that you think you should make music with.
Absolutely, let me know.
And then for this next one, like I said before, sky's the limits, and it's pretty literal in this sense. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, it was guaranteed the best lineup, guaranteed the best show. It doesn't have to be a venue; it could be anywhere. Where would you want to perform?
Just like a place, not specifically like
yeah, like I said, yeah, it doesn't have to be like a building even. It's just like anywhere in the world.
I would probably want to perform. Yeah, I would probably want to. I just recently went to Rome. I think I would want to perform in like London or somewhere like that.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that would be rad.
I feel like they appreciate hip hop different.
They do. They do. There's a really cool culture for it there.
Yeah, and they show a lot of love and just experiencing like a different way of life and cultures is fire. So I would say, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Somewhere away from here.
Yeah.
Even Africa. I would go perform in Africa.
Okay.
I seen 50 do a show over there and I was like, oh, that shit lit.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely hits a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then to wrap up the hypothetical questions, if you could get one more album from anybody, alive, dead, could have put out an album 100 years ago, put out an album yesterday, who would you want an album from?
Big L.
Oh, okay.
Big L.
Yeah.
If we could hear Big L, like I feel like when I first got introduced to like kind of like East Coast rappers,
mm-hmm.
and he was one of the ones that was like super bar heavy, where I was like, damn, I wish I would have thought of that or said that.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, just to hear him like in 2025, that would be dope. Just to see like,
yeah, where he went.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the genre would have gone with him still in it.
Yeah.
That's always something I wonder about, especially with him in particular. Like, he was so influential and he like wasn't really like pissing too many people off. So he had a good trajectory,
mm-hmm.
and just to be taken so soon when there was so much untapped potential there.
And he was crazy.
Yeah.
Like that dude was crazy. So yeah, I think that's one person I would like to hear something from him.
Oh yeah. All right. Now with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. What can we look forward to between, let's say, now and July?
I'm wrapping up Big Spoon Volume 3. It's a series of like EPs. This one will be probably like a full like 12 songs, 10 to 12 songs. Kind of like a summer vibe, old school type of vibe. This one is another one with a bunch of features, but I do have like a I wouldn't say freestyle, but like long verses, with hooks at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I got like 9 songs. I'm just trying to figure out how do I want to drop that.
Mm-hmm.
But I got 2 projects basically done. I'm about to start mixing. Big Spoon Volume 3 for sure. This summer for sure.
Oh, yeah. Damn, I'll probably look forward to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop at least 2 or 3 projects. I got like, I'm working on a house record, or a house project.
Yeah,
kind of like people gonna trip on that, but I got a house project. It's called House Party. I got like 3 joints on there. Got like kind of like a melodic kind of R&G type of project. So I got like at least 4 projects I could be done with by the end of this year.
Gotcha.
But 2 are already wrapped up.
Okay.
Basically.
Oh yeah. Well, definitely looking forward to all of that.
Yeah.
Do you have any like shows or anything coming up?
We're gonna figure something out. I just gotta get the rollout right, and I haven't really been doing a lot of shows, but if it makes sense,
I gotcha.
I'll do something.
I gotcha. All right. And then for this next one, go and look straight at your camera. Tell everybody how they can find you.
The Real Teaspoon on everything. X, Instagram, SoundCloud. TheRealTeaspoon.com is my website. I'll get the merch. And T $$ for the S. When you look me up on Spotify or Apple Music, T $$ for Spoon. Tap in.
Oh yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Man, just shout out my fam, man. Shout out my son, shout out my daughter. Everybody know who I rock with, man. So salute all my peoples. Everybody get some money. Drink some water, stay healthy. You know what I'm saying?
All right, then with that being said, I've got one last question to go.
Yeah.
Before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second.
Okay.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation. But in all of music, what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side? So it's a bit of a deep cut. It's one not a lot of people would know. But it's one you think everybody should know.
Everything my boy Psycho made.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Everything. I can never shout him out enough. That was another big inspiration. R.I.P. my dude. He was a great producer, great rapper. Engineered all our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He got a dope catalog too. You can go check out a lot of his stuff, my earlier stuff on Bandcamp. But yeah, anything Psycho did, man, go get that and tune in.
Oh, yeah. And just to confirm, is it just spelled the regular way?
It's SYKO.
Gotcha.
His Bandcamp is like Psycho Bandcamp 12 or Psycho 12 at Bandcamp. Something like that. But look it up, and it got a whole bunch of dope stuff on there.
Oh, yeah. So I just wanted to make sure everybody who looks it up can find it.
Love.
But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Appreciate you for having me, bro. For real, for real.
Yeah. And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Big Spoon.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.